Contrary to what people said last month, this is the most wonderful time of the year because the playoffs are here in the NFL. We welcome you to your weekly NFC West Huddle, where we're joined by experts around the division. In L.A., it's Gerard Moncure. In Phoenix, we've got Richard Saenz. And in the Bay Area, we have Frank Malicote. I'm Aaron Levine in Seattle, and this is where it really gets fun because 3 of the 4 teams in this division are still alive. Richard, in Phoenix, I'm sorry, not even a college football playoff to cover this year. And Lane Kiffin chose Sam Levitt over you to bring to an LSU basketball game. So you're just left out completely.
That's true, too.
But let's start with you for our first topic, and you are the neutral party here. That is the Rams and the Panthers on Saturday. Wild card playoff round. What are your thoughts on that one?
Well, hey, Fox does it right? I mean, that's a heck of a wild card matchup, that's for sure. But yeah, I wrote it in my diary that the Cardinals are out, and I am the neutral party. That's one way to put it, right? More like the losing party. The Cardinals don't even have a head coach. They lost their quarterback at ASU. They lost their head coach. So yeah, we got the Fiesta Bowl at least here in town, right? Ole Miss and Miami. But yeah, this is a heck of a game. San Francisco, Philadelphia. I mean, look, I think San Francisco I'll definitely take San Francisco plus the points. I think San Francisco is more battle-tested. They played in the NFC West, toughest division in football, and they've had some tough games. Chicago, Seattle recently. So I'm going to take San Francisco plus the points. And I will say this. I did have Christian McCaffrey in my fantasy team. The Chimichangas went all the way to the Super Bowl, and we lost for a second year in a row. So at least we had success fantasy-wise, just not reality-wise here in Arizona.
Wow. I mean, you're putting the cart before the horse there because I asked you about the Rams and Panthers. You gave me the Niners instead. We're going to get back to you then when we come back to you the next time. You can give me your Rams-Panthers pick. We might as well go to Gerard because Gerard is the one covering the Rams. What is the dialogue out of Woodland Hills, California, especially after the Rams lost to Carolina in Charlotte last month?
Thank you, Richard, but someone's got to steady the ship here, all right? Okay. The big issue coming into the rematch, Week 13 was a disaster for the Rams. They let Carolina possess the ball 35 minutes and 16 seconds of the game to their 24-24. They had 3 turnovers. One was a red zone turnover, and then they fumbled basically within range of the game-time field goal. Those were the outlining issues why they lost that game by 3 points to the Panthers. But the meat and potatoes is this. They gave up 164 rushing yards to Chuba Hubbard, Rico Dowdle, and Bryce Young. That made Bryce Young's job very easy on that Sunday because he was in second and short, third and short the entire game. They converted 3 for 3 on 4th down, scored 2 touchdowns on 2 of those plays, by the way, and they were 7 for 15 on 3rd down. Now, the Rams practice just ended about an hour and 15 minutes ago, and I just got out of the locker room, and believe me, these guys are all over the fact that they have got to stop the run, and they cannot let Bryce Young be in second and short and third and short and make his life easy. Those are the things that I got out of my conversations with several players today, and also, this started after they beat after they beat the Cardinals on Sunday. They brought up the fact that they did not want the same taste in their mouth that they had last year at this time when they lost to Philadelphia in the divisional round. That is a thing here in Woodland Hills. To be ready, a sense of urgency, and to let it all hang out. This team feels they were made for the postseason, so they are ready to go. But it is about stopping the run and taking care of the football Sunday. Do those 2 things, and the Rams advance to the divisional round.
Okay, Gerard also with that subtle flex down in Southern California at the beginning of January where it's bright and sunny outside. Frank, I know you're also focused on the Niners and Eagles game, which we will get to in a second, I promise, but give me your thoughts on the Rams in Carolina.
Yeah, I will follow directions, Aaron. Here we go. Well, first and foremost, a bit of a protest because I don't think it's fair a team that won 12 games is not hosting a playoff game. They got to go all the way to Carolina, a team that obviously they lost to, but an 8-9 team is hosting. Shame on the NFL. I think they got to figure that out. Week 13, I think Gerard talked about it. The Rams went out there and they got beat, not by a bunch, 31-28, but anything could happen. Stafford did not have a good game, although he's having an MVP season. A couple of picks, including pick 6, but Devontae Adams is back, although he played that game. But after 2 games sitting, he's back. You got Puka Nacua, 24 touchdowns between the two. Stafford's having an all-world season, and I do hope he wins the MVP at age 37. Panthers defense, middle of the road. I think their season's over this weekend, and I think the Rams go in there and get a little revenge in a big way. I like them. I'll even give you 10.5.
Wow.
Go Rams. And I can't believe I said that up here.
Well, Frank taking them in a blowout, the Rams. From my perspective, obviously Seahawks fans rooting for Carolina, although it kind of seems to be an improbable task at this point. But if I'm Carolina head coach Dave Canales, who was a first-year assistant coach on the Seahawks back in 2010 when the Seahawks stunned the New Orleans Saints in that wild card playoff round, I'd be on the phone if I was him, inviting Marshawn Lynch to Charlotte to be on the sidelines and bring those Beastquake vibes to the Panthers against the Rams this week. After all, this is the 15-year anniversary of that incredible run here in Seattle. Listen, I don't think Sean McVay allows his team to lose to Carolina a second time, but I am really curious to see whether the Rams have their mojo back, because as my friend Arash Markazi tweeted earlier this week, it seems like something happened to the Rams in Seattle with about 8 minutes left, and they haven't looked the same since. Now, I know they finished strong against Arizona last week, but the question is, after losing to Seattle, after losing at the Falcons, and then playing a putrid first half against Arizona, what do the playoff Rams look like? And that's what I'm going to be watching the most on Saturday afternoon. Okay, let's keep going quickly into the next game. Sunday afternoon, the Niners at the Eagles. Frank, we'll come back to you on this one. Give me your take from San Francisco's perspective.
Well, if you were at the press conference with Shanahan on Wednesday, it was not good. It was MASH times 10. They have no linebacking crew. Fred Warner's out. Tatum Bethune, he came in. He's on IR now. He's done for the season. D. Winters got hurt in the Seattle game. He's got a knee issue. He's questionable. They signed Eric Kendrick, practice squad guy. He's now the Mike linebacker on defense. And, he's never started a game for the Niners. And Kazeel White, he joins the team as a journeyman just to have a body just in case one of those go down. Ricky Pearsall, he's missed 8 games. Missed last week against Seattle. They missed him dearly. He has not practiced this week just yet. He is questionable. Trent Williams, he did not play, but I have a feeling, hamstring and all, even if he doesn't practice this week, he's 37. He wants to win a Super Bowl. He will likely play. McCaffrey, and Richard, I'm thinking of you. If you had him on the chimichangas, he had 8 carries for 23 yards. So that was no bueno. Niners, I think they got a good shot against the Eagles. I really do. Even though they got all this going on because, like it or not, they were on a 6-game roll. Purdy was hot until they bumped into Seattle in their defense. I know it's on the road, but I'm hoping for a miracle. But after that, all bets are off.
Okay, well, Gerard, do you agree, disagree? What do you think about the Niners at Eagles?
Oh, Frank, as the great Lee Corso likes to say, not so fast, my friend. Not so fast. The Eagles were leading the struggle bus for about 3 weeks, okay? And then they righted the ship. They lost 3 straight before they beat the Raiders 31-0, the Commanders 29-18, and Buffalo, the Buffalo Bills, 13-12 in Buffalo. The defense allowed a combined 256 yards rushing in those 3 games, okay? The offense committed just 1 turnover, and they rushed Saquon Barkley and company for 472 yards. That is a big, big, big bad sign for the 49ers coming up here on Sunday. Because if that run game gets going, what do you think A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, and Dallas Goedert are going to do to that Niner defense? I mean, it could be very, very ugly. I'm even more concerned with the fact that the Niners offense, and we know all about the injuries, I don't need to get into all that, only scored 3 points against the Seahawks. The Seahawks defense is the real deal, but 3 points? And the offense is supposed to be the Niners' strong point? All signs to me point this could be a very bad Sunday for Niners Nation. I think they're catching the Eagles at the wrong time, and I think the Eagles might have just been waiting for the postseason to come around, and everyone's going to get their best shot now.
Really interesting. I will go next. I think everyone here in Seattle is just hoping that the Rams aren't the lowest remaining seed at the end of this wild card weekend. So I like the fact that the Rams-Panthers and the Packers-Bears game are on Saturday, just so I know who to root for in the Niners-Eagles game on Sunday. If the Packers win Saturday night, it's a done deal. They're going to be coming to Seattle, so then I'm going to be rooting for the Eagles on Sunday to take out the Niners. If the Bears win and the Rams win, I will lean with the Niners on Sunday in terms of my rooting interest. But honestly, I don't know how good the Eagles are. Despite what Gerard just said, they did have a nice win at Buffalo in Week 17. That was by 1 point. But before that, that 3-game stretch, losing to the Cowboys, Bears, and Chargers, and those 2 wins are against the Raiders and the mediocre Commanders. I know it's a challenge for the Niners on the road, potentially with all those injuries. We hope Trent Williams will be there, but I think they still have enough in the tank. The Seahawks might have slowed them down last week, but there was just so much offensive momentum before that game. I'm clearly biased here, but the NFC West teams, I think, are the 3 best teams in the NFC remaining. So I don't see the Niners losing unless it's to, or any of them losing unless it's to a different team within this division. I'm surprised the Eagles are 4.5-point favorites. I guess Gerard's not surprised about that one, but I think the Niners actually win this one by a field goal. Richard, you gave us our pick already for the Niners and Eagles. So what do you think about the Rams and Panthers?
Well, hey, look, you can't count out Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers against an unproven Texans team. Oh, wait, sorry. I'm not drinking, I promise. I haven't been drinking today. But, yeah, look, the Rams are just too good. It's typical L.A., right? The typical L.A. luck to where they don't have to go and play the Eagles, right? They get the Carolina Panthers. I'm still in a survivor league, believe it or not. It's me and one other guy, and I'm taking the Rams because I think they're going to win this one. I think this is the one lock of the weekend is the Rams over the Carolina Panthers, and it's not even going to be close.
Okay, well, good luck in the Survivor League also. We've covered the 2 playoff games involving division teams. Coming up next, we're going to take a bigger picture view and ask who will remain coming up a championship weekend in a couple weeks from now. That's coming up next here on the NFC West Huddle. Back here on the NFC West Huddle, it's time to look in our crystal balls and give us final 2 teams in both the NFC and the AFC. Gerard, I'll have you go first on this one.
Okay, well, obviously, Aaron, the Seahawks are the number 1 seed, but I am going with the 2 standing teams at the end are going to be the Rams and the Eagles. Now, I believe the Eagles are going to beat the 49ers, and the Rams are going to beat the Panthers, so that's going to set up the Rams at Seattle for the divisional. And, the first game here, we all watched it, was a close game. Seattle had a long field goal opportunity to win the game that did not go. And then we saw the game, I guess it was probably now a month ago, up at Lumen Field. And I know everyone has an opinion about this, but to me, the Rams beat the Rams in that game, and they should have won the game. So I believe that they can go back to Seattle and beat the Seahawks, what should be a second time in Seattle. And with that said, I've got the Eagles coming out on the other side. I already stated how I think they're kind of in prime playoff mode now. They're ready, like the Rams are. So I've got the Rams and the Eagles coming out on the NFC side. And on the AFC side, I'm going with a couple surprise teams. I'm going with the Chargers and the Texans. I think that this is Justin Herbert's time now. As long as they can protect his backside, where they're missing Joe Alt and Rashid Sawyer all season long, they protect him. And I think that young New England team has got all kinds of problems coming their way. The weather's not going to be that bad, just a little cold. The Chargers have had a couple of upset losses the last 2 first rounds. I think that they are ready to overcome that stuff. And I like that Texans defense. It's a monster. It's the number 1 defense in the league for a reason. So I'm going with the Chargers and the Texans on the AFC side. That's my final 4.
Okay, so the LA guy going with 2 LA teams on each side of the bracket. I wonder whether he would say the Rams and the Chargers in the Super Bowl. We'll keep an eye on that one. Frank, you're up next. Who you got for the NFC Championship game, and how about the AFC title game as well?
All right, NFC. I think I think you're going to have a rematch. I hope this is possible. I didn't look at the bracket, but depending on how the games shake down, I think you're going to have a rematch of that overtime game up in Seattle with the Rams and the Seahawks again. I think they're the best two teams right now in the NFC. 49ers a smidge below, but they're just too beat up. We've talked about Matthew Stafford. He should be the MVP. 46 touchdowns at 37 years of age is just off the charts. And in Seattle, Aaron, I got to thank you. Or maybe not. I mean, it ruined my Sunday night. I stayed up late and watched this game, and it was a total bummer. I mean, the 49ers come swinging into this game. They had won 6 in a row. Purdy had, 13 touchdowns in 3 games. They couldn't do anything. It was just a really depressing game to watch, and it just tells me how good that defense is for Seattle. So I like Seattle playing L.A., Chicago, Philly, Panthers, Packers. Sorry, Gerard, I think you guys are all cooked come NFC title time. AFC, I'd love to see the Pats and the Steelers. That Steeler-Baltimore game was off the charts good on Sunday night. I went to Cal, love Aaron Rodgers, love to see him advance and go deep into the playoffs and see what happens there. And I covered the Patriots for almost 20 years, so I do like Drake May. But I'm going to throw a curveball. 2 teams that have never been to the Super Bowl. I like Jacksonville sneaking in. They're sneaky good. I think they can get by Buffalo. They're playing them at home, averaging 28 points a game. Trevor Lawrence has just been lights out the last several weeks. 4,000 yards, 29 touchdowns. And I like Texas, too. Their defense is just far too good. 9-game winning streak. I'm going to give Denver an honorable mention, but I think your AFC title game is Jacksonville and Texas.
Okay. Frank, what time is your bedtime? You said you were up late on Sunday. That game on the West Coast was over at 8:45. Your normal bedtime, 7 p.m.?
Well, when you anchor a morning show come Monday morning, yes. Okay. And when you're in at 3 o'clock at God's hours.
Completely. Fair enough. Richard, open that book of yours. Tell me who the final 4 teams will be this year and why.
Well, I like the Rams. Gerard, he's wearing the sunglasses, not because it's sunny there, it's because his future's so bright, right? He knows he's going to cover, another championship game. That's why I went with both L.A. teams, right? I think the Rams are legit. I'm going with strong quarterback play in the playoffs because that's what you need, right? And when you look at, for the first time in a while, there's no clear-cut team that you'd say, okay, the Chiefs, they look so good, it's hard to count them out. Or even Philly before. Gerard talked about Philly kind of cranking it up come playoff time. Well, they beat the Raiders. I don't know if that's anything to really talk about. Yeah, they beat Buffalo, but they beat Washington too. So I don't know if they're ready for the playoffs or not, to be honest. But I do like the Rams just because of Matthew Stafford, and they've been there, they've done that. And then of course you got Vince Lombardi said it. Good offense win games. Good defense wins championships. So Seattle's going to be there because of their defense. But Sam Darnold he's played great. He exceeded my expectations, that's for sure. But I got to see him do it in the playoffs. Same for the AFC. Houston's defense is amazing, but can they get past the first round? And then, I'm going to go with Buffalo. They've been there before. They've got the best quarterback in the AFC still in the playoffs. So I like Buffalo in the AFC. And I still kind of like Houston, though, just because of their defense. They should be in the mix as well.
Okay. As for me in the NFC, I've got the Seahawks and the Rams. I think they've been the best 2 teams in the conference in the second half of the season. That Thursday night football game was absolutely epic. Both of their games this season have gone down to the wire, and I want to see it again, whether Sam Darnold can avoid the mistakes that cost them the first game and almost cost them that second game, and whether the Seahawks defense can finally have an answer for Sean McVay and his offense. Someone brought it up the other day. For as difficult as Mike McDonald has made it for Kyle Shanahan, even when he was leading the Baltimore Ravens defense when they faced the Niners, McDonald struggled against McVay even when McDonald was with Baltimore as well. As for the AFC, I've got the Broncos and the Bills. I think the Broncos only have to beat the Steelers or Texans in Denver. I think they can do that. And when you look at the other 4 teams, I know Houston's on a hot streak, and they're on the top half, but Josh Allen, you talk about playoff pedigree, the Bills, more postseason experience than anyone else. 14 playoff games for Coach Sean McDermott, 13 of them with Josh Allen. I think they beat Jacksonville this weekend and then beat the Patriots just like they did last month on the road. Not sure who wins that one, but I think the AFC title game does come down to Buffalo at Denver. Okay, another quick break coming up, and then we will quickly answer the question, who will be the next coach in Arizona, as we wrap things up here on the NFC West Huddle. Okay, running out of time here on the NFC West Huddle. Once again, the Arizona Cardinals searching for a new head coach. Richard, you're down there. What's the chatter? What do people want? Who do you want to hire?
Yeah, I think the timing is kind of interesting for the Cardinals because there's so many other head coaching positions available, right? You got, the Giants, you got Baltimore, you got teams with proven quarterbacks in the waiting that I think will be more attractive for the available head coaches out there. So I think the Cardinals have to go with somebody a little bit, not a big name like a Saleh or a Harbaugh. Maybe Mike McDaniels, who's now available with Miami. He's done stuff with Chula there in Miami. He's an offensive mind. You know what, Aaron? I'm going to get your take on this. What about Clint Kubiak? I could see them going for somebody like that and not a big name because they're still going to have to pay Jonathan Gannon and they're still paying Cliff Kingsbury. So I want to get your take on Clint Kubiak and whether he deserves a head coaching job.
Yeah, sure. Take Kubiak, and then we'll take Mike McDaniel as our new offensive coordinator. Gerard, you're next. Who should the Cardinals hire?
Richard, your ownership needs to throw the book, throw all the money at John Harbaugh. He's the best coach out there. Stealing a line from Friday Night Lights. If you want to win, put Booby in. Coach, I'm about to spin. John Harbaugh, 13 straight winning seasons. He's won a Super Bowl. He is the most successful coach since 2008 out of all these coaches that are out there right now. He is the answer. They ought to throw money and power at John Harbaugh and let him rebuild your organization.
Frank, 20 seconds.
Yeah, I'm sure the Cardinals want Harbaugh, but does Harbaugh want the Cardinals?
Yeah, that's true.
That's the question.
It's sunny there.
Probably not, Richard. That's the sad part. By the way, Buster Posey went into the collegiate ranks, hired Tony Vitello out of Tennessee. There's a team playing this week, Indiana. Kurt Cignetti, he's good. Google him. He should be your new head coach.
Wow. Okay. That's a dark horse for sure. I'll be selfish from a Seahawks perspective. I hope the Cardinals hire Robert Saleh because it hurts the 49ers. And I'm not fully convinced of Saleh's abilities as a head coach. I understand he had to coach the Jets, which is a dumpster fire for anyone. But, until he shows an ability to turn a team into a playoff contender, I'm not too worried about him, although he is a fantastic defensive coach. That is going to do it for us on this week's version of the NFC West Huddle. Be here next week. We will talk about the divisional matchups in the playoffs. Have a great week, everyone.